see what it's like to experiment with a totally different way of living, of existing, of going about making decisions. I am not the leg of the table of someone else's dinner. Like, I have the fucking dinner on the table, and I need 4 legs to help support this vision that I have created, help support me. Hi, my name is Asha, and I am starting my human design experiment over again, this time with my cosmic chart. I did experiment last year with my regular human design charts, and I wrote an article about that I actually haven't published. So maybe by the time anyone sees this video, that'll be up and available for you to read, and you guys will have read that. But I have had a long interest in like Vedic sidereal astrology, and I got really curious about the cosmic charts. And so when I looked it up, it's totally feels like the opposite of what my original human design chart is. And so I was like, whoa, okay, this is another option here. Let's see how this feels. It feels good. And, I felt like that about the regular human design chart when I first started. I remember the feeling sort of saying like, oh, this resonates so much. And so I've decided that I'm going to experiment with it and see how it feels, see if it meshes well with my life, see if I get any benefits out of it. And ultimately, what my intention is to understand if this chart, this way of looking at human design serves me or not. And then if it does, how can I learn what I need to learn in order to help other people explore this different type of chart, this other way of looking at things. I know that there are a lot of human design purists out there, a lot of people who believe that the way that Ra channeled it is the exact correct way to use it, and that anything else is a joke or it's just wrong, and that's fine, you can think that. I know there are also people out there that don't resonate with their human design chart and have not benefited by it, and that are open to other ways of looking at things. And I fit more into the latter category. So I started off I got the human design book because I was studying at one point. And I went to be an analyst, and all that sort of got put to a screeching halt when following my strategy and authority as my original design type that I was told just was not working. And I had to abandon all of it because I had so convinced myself that this was right. And I wanted it to be right. And when it wasn't working, that was really devastated me in a lot of ways. And so almost over a year later since I began the experiment initially, Spirit is bringing human design back into my life. And so I am here looking at it with a different perspective, with new and fresh eyes, with a law of attraction perspective to this matter. And I'm really excited to see how my life changes, see what the experience is like, how it feels, and I'm really excited to document this and log this experiment because I feel that it's going to be super hopeful for you guys to be able to see what it's like to experiment with a totally different way of living, of existing, of going about making decisions. And really, it's something that really has to be experimented with. It's not something you can just read and be like, okay, good, I'm great, just gonna move on now, continue with my life. Like, it's actually something that you need to put intention behind when you go into your experiment. So let's get into some specifics here. For my cosmic human design, I am a Splenic Manifestor. And for the Manifestor, their strategy is to inform. And for Splenic authority is, when you have a Splenic authority, you receive your answers to decisions in a form of like sort of instantaneous like gut impulses. You just sort of know, right? You get that and you just know. And it's usually geared towards what's best for you from like a safety sense, from a fear sense, from a body sense. You just sort of know if like yes, no, versus a emotional authority, which is associated with the solar plexus. They experience a wave of emotions, and they need to ride out that wave and come to a place of, say, neutrality on the situation before making a decision. Splenic is the total opposite. It's funny when my original human design had me as an emotional projector. And for those who don't know, projectors, their strategy is to wait for the invitation. And for emotional authority, again, it's you're supposed to ride out that wave, come to a place of neutrality so that you can make a level-headed decision. Well, in addition to my cosmic saying that I am Splenic authority, my solar plexus is completely open. And so what I had experienced trouble with before is that my emotions, I experience a lot of emotions all the time. And not all of them are mine. And I've known that. I'm very empathic, I'm very intuitive, and I can feel a lot. And it felt like it would take forever for me to come to a place where I wasn't feeling anything, I was feeling emotional neutrality. And then when I did get to that place, then I felt like I had no clarity at all. I felt like, well, I don't know. I felt like I still didn't know, even after, say, writing out the emotional wave. Once that finally came to an end, I felt like my time had passed. Like that moment of inspiration I had, like I felt like I really knew in that moment. But then waiting until that, that excitement, that peak, that inspiration, that impulse passed, and I could experience a full range of emotions. I just felt like things were just sort of passing me by. And it led to me like getting depressed because I felt like I couldn't trust myself. I felt like when this opportunity came up, I felt like, okay, I know. But being like, oh, well, I can't trust that, right? Because they say for emotional authority, there is no truth in the now. So I was like, oh, I can't trust what I'm getting right now. I need to wait. That totally effed me up, and I'm still deconditioning from that. Law of attraction teachings have really actually helped me with deconditioning from the old human design and old astrology charts, way of viewing things. But yeah, it really, really messed with me and my ability to trust my intuition, to trust my impulses. And what the law of attraction opened up for me was it gave me permission to follow my positive impulses, to trust myself, to know that when I'm getting inspired or I'm getting that inspiration, that's coming from my truth, my source, my inner being, and that anything that comes from that good, positive feeling place is going to be good for me. And that's at least what I take out of that, and what has resonated for me. And it gave me permission to throw the human design out the window and go in this direction. And so many positive things have manifested for me since I stopped following that prior strategy and authority of an emotional projector. So many things have happened. I have manifested more, created more in my life with way more ease than I did when I was following my strategy and authority as an emotional projector. And yeah, it's almost laughable. It's almost laughable how different my life and experience has been since I stopped doing that. What my intention is for my experiment as a Splenic manifestor is, it's funny because I'm already doing a lot of it naturally, which is just makes sense to me, right? It's like, oh, of course, following my positive impulses, acting in the now. The way I tend to move, having integrated the law of attraction teachings, is when I get a positive impulse or inspiration, I understand that's coming from my inner being, it's coming from my truth. And that inspiration is for now. It's not for later, it's for now. And so I act or move now, unless, who executes these things at 100%? We're all trying our best here. But for me, it was, I tried to execute in the now, to do something with it now. And my intention as a manifestor, and something I've noticed that I could have used in the past, would be informing people, letting people know what I'm doing, when I'm doing it, maybe even why I'm doing it, to make things easier. Just looking back on my life, I just recall like scenarios where I've made a decision about something important, major, and just felt like the feeling was a couple of things. Like the feeling was partially like, well, I don't need to tell anybody anything. Like, why do I need to run my decision past people? Like, they'll just deal with it. It'll be fine. I'm just gonna do what I want to do. And then dealing with people's reactions or backlash or blah, blah, blah. My focus is on informing people of what I want, what's happening, what I'm doing, and how things are going to be in my life. Like how things are going to be. And there are some similarities though, because as a manifestor, I don't have a defined sacral. And so I don't have all this energy to just grind and hustle and all this stuff that's not. And it doesn't feel natural for me to just always be out there grinding, working and hustling. I just don't have the energy for it. Like I just don't. I get burnt out so quick. I get bitter. I get angry and bitter, and I just get mad because it just seems, for me, it's just not a good use of my energy. It seems sort of pointless. There are better people out there that are better suited to do that type of work, do that type of like repetitive grinding, very energetically heavy on the body work. Not me though. And so it's really just got me opening my mind up to how I can work with people to help bring my ideas and bring my visions to life. And it's a total paradigm shift for me to begin to see myself more as an initiator, as a leader, versus as someone who's helping to execute someone else's vision or dream or goals. I went back and read the section in this book here. This book is the Definitive Book of Human Design by Linda Burnell. It talked about how the manifestors, they need other people, but not in a way that people traditionally think, right? Like they talk about how the manifestors, the reason informing is important is so that they can garner support for the initiative, for what they're trying to initiate. That's why it's so important for me to talk about and inform people of what I'm doing and what's going on and what I want, is so that people can help me and support me in that, and so that I don't have to do all of it, and so that I can attract towards me people that can help fulfill the various aspects of what I need and what I want. That's so different. That's so different from what I have been told. And they said that oftentimes manifestors either become like rebellious or passive. And I've definitely been on both ends of those spectrums of like rebelling against rules, not wanting to go with what anyone else is doing, not liking authority, not liking being told what to do. And then, when I get angry and feeling anger, and then being like, oh, well, that's not allowed. Like, I'm not allowed to get angry. I'm not allowed to get mad. I'm not allowed to get what I want. So I'll just be passive instead. I just won't care. I just won't, whatever you want, fine, whatever. I don't want to deal with that. It makes me remember what I was going to say earlier, which was that, I've had the feeling in the past of like, oh, I'm not going to tell them what I'm going to do because I know they're going to tell me not to do it. So I'm just going to bypass this conversation because I don't want to have it. I don't want to hear it. And because I know how this goes, right? I tell someone I'm going to do, they tell me all these reasons why I shouldn't do it and try and talk me out of it. And I am a very strong-willed person, and that also goes with my chart. And for anyone who knows me, if my mom's watching this, or if my boy Jason's watching this, they both know that I am strong-willed, and have told me that before. But my I don't even realize what I was connecting that to, but I am. And it makes so much more sense, and it is really, I feel like, calling me to step into my power and my worthiness and using my voice and saying what I want and how things are going to be, and being the role maker and the decision maker in my life. And I know that they can only bring me positive changes, that can only bring me continued positive manifestations. They can only continue to benefit me and my businesses. And really, again, just realizing I do need support, right? I am not the leg of the table of someone else's dinner. Like, I am the fucking dinner on the table, and I need 4 legs to help support this vision that I have created, to help support me. Yeah, I'm excited for that future. I'm excited for what that looks like. And it feels so much better when I'm making the decisions. It feels so much better when I make the decisions. I love making decisions for me. And about what I want. But I don't like making decisions for other people. I don't do that. That's not something that I don't really care what other people do, especially if it doesn't affect me. If it affects me, that's a different story. I may have an opinion or two, but ultimately I want people to make their own decisions, because if they don't like the outcome, then that's on them. And if they do, that's also on them. They can feel good about themselves, and we all should be able to make our own decisions. And that's part of what human design is about, is helping people make better decisions in their life. My intention for this new experiment is to begin informing and talking more about what I'm doing, when I'm doing it, why I'm doing it, especially to the people that are directly affected by my actions, if there are any. Yeah. That is my intention. As far as when I will start this experiment, currently doing a ceremony right now that actually ends on Christmas. Yeah, it ends on Christmas. I'm currently doing a ceremony right now. And so I'm really in the energy of this ceremony. And the ceremony has gifted and birthed it to me. This, keep bringing human design back into my life in some respect, and beginning to play with these ideas, these energies, or whatever. And so what feels right for me is to wait until this one is over and then start a new ceremony, new experiment with the intention I set and with anything else, and then proceed from there. Just to keep things ordered and organized. That feels best to me. What I do want to offer to you, something to contemplate, is this. Have you thought about making your decisions about how you live, about what you think, about who you are, based on what benefits you or what feels good to you? Have you thought about that? And if not, why? And if so, are you doing it? Are you doing it? Are you doing it? My life improved tenfold when I started making decisions based on what I wanted, based on what made me feel good. And you know what? Everyone else around me was okay. They are all still good, right? Sure, maybe in a moment they were like, I don't think you should do that. Or like, I think you're making a bad choice. Like, I think you're less of a person. But I felt so good that I didn't care. I felt so good that I didn't care what anyone else thought about what I did or what I was doing. And I believe that that's possible for everyone. Every single one of us, I do believe that that's possible. And so I leave you with that. And I guess I'll talk to you on the next on the next video when I'm talking about my experiment.